Canada! You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
Together we are Robre. How's every single one of you? And it's Wednesday, and let's talk about Fyter Fest Night 2, AEW Dynamite, and, a lot of surprises in the show. Maybe not, some of them not too pleasant. Maybe other ones is like, Andrade, what other, Hispanic guy can we bring? Oh, let's bring Chavo. Yeah, that's fine. They all talk the same language, and it's coming from a guy that talks the same language as them. So, that's not even a shot there. But, overall, probably a pretty decent Dynamite. Maybe Night 1 was a little more enjoyable for me, but let's hear it from Jean-Paul Leek.
Yeah, I mean, this I think I like Night 1 more. None of these both shows were, home runs. There's a segment or two. He goes, okay, that was pretty good. I like that. But the things that were bad were real bad, and I don't think the things that were good made up for the things that were bad.
Yeah, so we're going to be, talking about everything. Thank you for every single one of you for supporting us. We keep growing, and that's great. Every single outlet that we have in the social media, please keep doing so. We want to get it to 10,000, just tonight with this show. So it's all on you guys. So you got to support us. Also, Paul, NXT. I mean, a little better NXT than today, Night 2, right? He's legit on Tuesdays, but on Mondays he just loses to Jeff Hardy, Karrion Kross, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the world of Monday Night Raw and the world of NXT don't exist on the same plane. I don't understand how, the Kross is such a threat here on NXT and then loses to Jeff Hardy in a minute and a half on Monday Night Raw. Now, Of course, there was technicalities in that match, Hardy's foot on the ropes, but it doesn't matter. But, no, this was a pretty solid episode of NXT. Like we said, the main theme here, Karrion Kross, Samoa Joe, at the end of the show, Kross attacked Regal. So we're going to have to see what the repercussions are next week.
Exactly. So, let's talk about the first match that opened Dynamite. Somebody that, the God keeps growing. As the, weeks go by, I love the guy, though. Chris Jericho is one of my favorite ones. All-time favorites. I love Chris Jericho, but, the God is keep getting bigger and bigger. It's fine, My mind is going to. But, he got the magic with Shawn Spears. It's a chairs match. And, of course, this is the first labor that Jericho has to overcome in order for him to get to MJF. And we said it. It's going to be 5 weeks. So it's going to be 5 weeks of Jericho winning every single one to any opponent that they put against him. And, this was okay. I mean, the old school Jericho, he can still do the, his moveset and all of that. But, of course, Shawn Spears, can he ever win? No.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't bad. We saw how Jericho kind of, was able to get around the chair and stuff. He would either knock it out of Spears' hands, and then he would go on offense. And, there was the spot when he got the lion tamer on him. Everybody thought, or the walls Jericho, and everybody thought it was done. Then you saw Tully, and then
Sammy Guevara was also there,
and all this stuff. So, I mean, of course, it couldn't have just been, there had to be distraction, interactions, all that other bullshit. But, then Shawn Spears, I actually thought he was going to win this. When he hit the big chair shot on Jericho, right to the head, he hit the C4, 1-2, boom, Jericho kicked out at 3.
That's a good move, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't because it buries Shawn Spears, and it's it buries not only Shawn Spears but a chair shot to the head. Because then somebody else will take a chair shot to the head and they'll be out for 4 weeks. Jericho hits it and he pops right back up. No, that's bullshit. There's no consistency.
No, I'm saying the move, the execution is a pretty legit move if they will finish people, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it looked good, but I mean, it was bullshit that Jericho kicked out because we knew it was done. You know what I mean? And then we saw, eventually the Judas effect, 1, 2, 3. And
of course, like you said, Jericho's going to win. MJF comes out and says, hey, well, you overcame the first labor. So, cool, we got the epidural ready for you. But the next time the next one is going to be in a no DQ match against, oh my God, Nick Gage. Shawn Michaels want to be, look at Shawn Michaels nowadays and Nick Gage, they look alike. Maybe Shawn Michaels in the worst time of his career. But, I don't know what to think about this. This actually shows...
Yeah, this is Shawn Michaels if he never got clean.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. And, this is the thing that, AEW really relies on, what the Dark Side of the Ring do. All the popularity that the show has, all, the fandom that they have. Oh, yeah, let's cash in and into that, motivation or that... importance that
hopefully they do a Grizzly Smith angle so the show can get thrown off TV so we don't have to do it anymore.
That's the next one because they already did with Brian Pillman. Now it's Nick Gage, so we have a Tuchel Scorpio will be next. So again, they cash in on like
or maybe they'll go to North Korea and then we won't have to see him again either. But no, this is just bad. This is just bad. Nick Gage is, his wrestling style isn't something you want to feature on national television to be like, yeah, this is what we're broadcasting, because the people who, put you on their television station, they are not fans of professional wrestling at all, let alone this kind of garbage, crackhead professional wrestling, if you even want to call it that. So no, I don't think this is good. The marks like it now, but in a couple months, nobody will care about this. Nobody will care about Nick Gage. You know what I mean? The problem is, not to go too much into it, is people are celebrating this guy's life and everything he's doing when really they should be like, dude, you need to get clean. You need to get help. When you watch Dark Side of the Ring, there's no happy ending. Oh, I'm back in jail. Oh, I'm back on drugs. Oh, I'm still, wrestling for $20 and some heroin. No, what? Tony Khan's going to give him a fat paycheck, and where's that going to go?
Yeah, it's true though. It's true, but he's going to be fighting Jericho. So, it's a big surprise. First time in national TV. There you go. A big no for Jean Paul. He wanted to do this for that. Yeah, there you go. So, let's go to the next one. And this was just added, just like I think it was today. It was actually Frankie Kazarian against Ddragunov. And this match was okay. I don't like the winner though. Kazarian is he's like the elite killer. And, he needs to go to every single one of them. He needs to win because, at some point you got to give him, Kenny Omega, at least just for, the title, in between the thing with Adam Hangman Page. So I didn't like the winner of this.
Yeah, and you say in between the thing with Hangman Page, and I don't even think there's going to be anything in between Hangman Page. I don't think Omega's going to have a title defense in between them. I think they're just going to draw it out until that match eventually happens. And yeah, the one time AEW doesn't put a babyface over is probably the time they should have put the babyface over. And
yeah,
the match wasn't bad, but I guess it's good for Doc Gallows. I guess because when's the hell the last time we seen the Good Brothers get a win on, especially on this channel? On Impact at least they win, they get they're tag champs and stuff. But here it's like, do they ever win? Do we ever see them look legit? But they try to say, oh, it's the numbers game, it's the size advantage, this and that. But it wasn't bad, but yeah, wrong winner if you ask me.
No, yeah, I would have won Kazarian to win. He's on fire, and I won Kazarian because the story calls for a legit build up, going every single one of them, kind of like this thing Jericho is doing, but told in a much better way. So that's the thing that I would have wanted to see that Magic Killer from both of them. Like you said, they just get wins from an Impact, but this was just bad. And of course, Callis and Omega. It's a little annoying to see them every single week. It's not the same, and I'm talking a lot more garbage.
And how about their sense of really awful humor?
Yeah,
and Omega's like, oh, the hunter becomes the and then Don Callis has to feed him the line. He's like, oh, the hunter becomes the hunted, and it's supposed to be tongue in cheek, funny or something. I guess I'm like, this is awful. This is legit shit. Then we see Hangman come out, and at least they're like, you got to be either drunk or stupid to try to take on all of us. And he's like, yeah, I am. Pretty much yeah, I'm both. I'm drunk and I'm stupid. So that was at least, I'm like, okay, so that was legit.
Exactly.
But then again, Hangman, as legit as he is, look at that. He looks like a baked potato wearing a mask. He looks like shit. You want to talk about Jericho, man? And these are the people who are coming to the number one babyface's aid. These losers, and it's it sucks. It really sucks for Hangman. You couldn't have paired him, even if it was him, Kazarian, and some other
Christian,
who's a badass. Christian. At least that's 3 top guys, or at least 2 top guys and a mid card guy on the rise in Kazarian. That's credible. Not Evil Uno, who I said he looks like he hopped off his beanbag chair playing Nintendo 64, and you put him in the ring. No, he looks like shit. And the other guys, they might be over with this audience, but they're not. They're still just mid card. So it hurts Hangman Page. And this was another segment like last week where it just went on too long, and it was is this ever going to end?
Yeah, no, it's cool that they keep teasing the feud and all of that, but the way that they're doing it is not as great as it could be, because the World Wars need to get a lot better. But AEW, that's what we gotta see. It is they're like this. We feel like Brian Cage. That's how we are. Yeah, whatever. It sucks. So they're asking him his thoughts about everything that happened last week with the fuck the World Championship and all of that. So then we got to see Taz, and then he says that he's gonna hold celebration for Ricky Starks next week, and I kind of like what Powerhouse he has the fuck the world right there in the right there in his clothes. So that was cool. But this is again, why are they feuding with each other?
And then the way that they ended this proves that Brian Cage is awful on the mic. He should never be allowed to speak on his own, especially as a babyface. He's like, oh, so what do you think about their celebration next week? Oh, well, that's funny because I like celebrations too. Yeah, we know you're gonna show up. They're gonna be celebrating. Your music's gonna hit. You're gonna beat everybody up. You're probably gonna throw Ricky Starks through a cake or some bullshit. We already know what's gonna happen, and like then he tries to cap it off to just awkward bullshit. It's like the best.
And again, while they're feuding with each other, you know, like they should if they have that much guys, they should be able to give me better feuds. You know, we have this guy. He's a clear babyface. He's a clear heel.
It's like we just saw it. Split them apart. Let Brian Cage get some wins. Go through some feuds. Then he can meet Ricky Starks again.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, don't just have like the same guys. You know,
it's the same thing like Jericho and MJF. Is it ever going to end? Will it ever be over? No.
Yeah, and especially knowing that like they've been fighting for like 2-3 months already. So at least tell me a little bit about Miro, because that's the only kind of legit thing that like this show has. Another great promo. You know, like I like the new design for like the TNT Championship. So that was good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Miro's like when he's intense and he's serious, he's a good promo. Even if he stumbles over his words, you still don't go, oh, he's bullshit, because you're like, well, it's not his first language, and he says it with such intensity, and you see what he does in the ring. Are you going to go up to him and be like, hey, your promo's bullshit? You know, he'll rip you in half.
Or like, yeah, your second language is bullshit. No,
yeah, you know, like Miro, I mean, he's legit. You know, what is this now? The 5th version of the TNT title?
Yes.
I know they had the red and silver, then they had the red and gold, and then they changed it to the black after Brody Lee passed. You know, then it was, you know, now it's this. So, you know, they had all these different versions. So, you know, this is cool. You just got to build up a credible contender, but there really isn't.
He needs that big time, because again, promo is cool, but like now, okay, next week it needs to be somebody that they start building. That would have been Kazarian. If he would have won, but no, of course he loses, but he wins on Elevation, right? On Dark, we all see that show. Oh yeah, you know, let's go to like another one that like they have a lot of faith now in Wheeler Yuta. Just because he goes against Darby Allin now. He won the coffin match with Ethan Page last week. So this match was okay. You know, nothing out of the ordinary. They're trying to put Wheeler Yuta over, but like this was just bad. Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this barely stings. Sting's probably like, man, thank God Tony Khan's paying me like $1 million an episode, or, you know, this is just bullshit. You know, I mean, it's again, you know, we see a Darby Allin match, and, you know,
Sting is right there.
For 3 minutes, the camera's just on Sting.
Yeah. It's like, can we focus on what's going on in the ring? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see, and for some reason, Darby Allin gets distracted by this. Like, they're actually fighting. They're literally just kicking each other like children in the playground, and Darby Allin gets distracted by this.
Yeah.
He should, you know, it should be the opposite of being distracted. You should be like, oh, they're just being bullshit. I don't care. But it's like, Wheeler, you almost rolls him up and stuff. But then, like you say, you know, big coffin drop. And the one thing about this is, when Darby Allin, you know, he did that like stunner, he does the float over stunner.
Yeah.
You know, Yuta's laying there. He literally goes like this. He's laying on his back. He looks up at Darby and be like, "Are you going to hit me?" If you can look at the guy when he's coming down, you can roll out of the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Sell it, be like, oh, I'm done. Like,
be like Xia Li at least, right? Sell me like Xia Li. I mean, Xia Li, there was reports that actually she's doing fine. So good, you know. But hopefully, a speedy recovery for her. You know, best wishes for her, because she did that tornado, like you said, a little funny yesterday. But and then, you know, Orange Cassidy, they have to have that match with the Blade. I don't even know why, because that's a really awful feud. Nobody wants to see this. But that's the kind of show we had today. Night 2, like you said, a lot less than night 1. We got to see the son of Haku. You know, like right there, like his name is Hiuleo or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember what his name is.
I have it in the next picture, like the whole name, but like he's right there. The guy is like 7 feet tall. He's huge. So like he's there because he's gonna be fighting the winner of Jon Moxley and Lance Archer. So really cool stuff. I mean, if he's the son of Haku, you know, he probably those kicks, you know, knowing the stories that Haku, you've told me from like the shoot interviews, he's probably really cool. He's great in the ring, and he probably can beat you in a real fight. So that was okay. And now let's go to the next one, Paul. And this is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, against Nyla Rose for the AEW Women's Championship. This, like you said, wasn't the great thing, but, you know, despite that, the match was pretty decent, though. It had a little, like, good moments. You know, Britt Baker looked okay. Nyla is just Nyla. You know, you cannot ask, like, a great match from her, but at least it wasn't too bad, at least for me.
Yeah, the only thing, I mean, I thought Baker was calling a good match. We see a lot of times she would go for, like, a roll-up, and either, again, not trying to be mean or offensive, but, like, Nyla Rose, either she's too big, she couldn't bend down to get, everything just looked really awkward. It looked like because of Nyla Rose, who was moving, in molasses or like moving like she was stuck in super glue, Britt Baker looked the same. Everything just looked really slow, like you put like the half speed on. It didn't look good. It didn't look smooth. For like if you see like Britt Baker versus like a Thunder Rosa or somebody like that, that match is going to be really smooth and it's going to be enjoyable to watch. This was like said you're watching like on half speed. A lot of these weird like roll ups and kick outs and everything. I mean, I like, when Baker, she kicked out of the big, when Nyla Rose hit the big knee and the power bomb, so she kicked out.
I like this also, too,
finishers.
because, she tried to be Eddie, though, of course.
Yeah, which, I mean, I really thought, they were going to turn her babyface, Baker. I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to start to turn her babyface because, the crowd really likes her, because she's over. She's been a heel for a long time. And what happens when you're a heel for a long time? Eventually, when they get behind you, you turn them babyface. So I thought that's what they were going to do. Then they did the bullshit spot with Eddie because, don't worry, this isn't the last time we're going to talk about Eddie.
No.
She she gets the bell, she throws it to Rose, falls down. So Vicky grabs the refs, distracts them, so Rose can throw the belt back to Baker. She's like, I didn't even hit her. Look, Nyla Rose didn't even sell it and lay down. She just sat there and looked at Baker. If you're going to throw her the belt, lay down like you're knocked out, you idiot. So then she's like, I didn't even hit her. Look at her. And the ref's like, yeah, you're right. She's sitting up. And Rhodes probably like, man, I'm a dumbass. So, then eventually she gets the lockjaw and retains. And then she's like, yeah, I give up. And the ref's like, do you give up? And she had to literally smack Baker on the head, like tap her on the head to be like, yeah, I'm tapping. So, yeah, I mean, just little things. But when the little things add up, it becomes a lot. So eventually, I mean, at least Baker won. But we need better opponents. We need just a better.
They need Thunder Rosa. They need a Deonna Purrazzo if they're ever gonna open that door for her, or they need even Hikaru Shida.
Well, like I said, Britt Baker, it just needs to be like she just needs to call honey. Can you just stay in NXT for like 3 more years till my contract's up, and then I'll be right over. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Like it is true because like this, I mean, they need to build some credible people for her. Hikaru is completely banished from like AEW Dynamite. I see him on episodes of Dark and Elevation. Like every now and then I check the results. So she's been there, but like I don't know. They need better baby faces here. They need.
Who's her next opponent? Yuka Sakazaki. Since her beat Penelope Ford last week. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, no, they're not going to do that, and I hope they don't. I mean, they try to take this feud, FTR against Santana and Ortiz to the next level, kind of making it like, for example, like an NXT UK will do, like a press conference, semi like that. I mean, I like the effort.
I wouldn't even say like NXT UK. I would say like how wrestling used to be when it was legit.
Oh, well,
because we always say NXT UK is at least the only show that still kind of treats it legit. But no, this was good. They talked to these, they talked to both of them, and FTR, they were pretty confident, and Santana and Ortiz are just like, oh, what do you guys think? And he's just like, oh, we are, that was saying FTR, they're like, we respect you as professional wrestlers, but not as men, like you're bullshit, everything. Mm-hmm. And then Santana, this is a picture of my mom when she was 15 and I was born. This is our bullshit apartment. This is the newspaper from when she fought the slumlord, so we had a place to live and we weren't living on the street. And then I love when Dax just goes, I think it was Dax, he just goes, listen, I don't give a shit about your life. I care about 3 things: God, my family, and professional wrestling. So I don't give a fuck about your bullshit life. And then they almost start going at, I mean, that was great. Because like you see, Santana and Ortiz, like, oh, babyface. And they're like, shut the hell up. We don't care. Like, you're bullshit. So it was intense. It's good. And, both teams said, after we beat you guys, it's pretty much just a stepping stone for us, to achieve the gold. So that's what, again, at least they put that in there, that this match is about being the tag team champ.
The number one contenders going to the tag title. Exactly.
This was one of the parts of the show where you go, okay, this is good. It wasn't enough to save it from the garbage, but this was a good.
But at least it's like smiley face. If you're like rating the show like segment by segment, that actually gets the 5 stars. If you want me to, this was bad. The next one we're gonna hear from El Idolo. This for me, you keep burying the guy week by week, and people say, why you think that? It's just because like can we forget that like he's Hispanic for a reason? And again, you're hearing it from the Hispanic guy here. Why? Because it should be like the wrestling that talks for him. I don't care where you're from, as long as like you're a good wrestler. Kushida,
these segments where they just talk for like 8 minutes straight are the things that kill the show. If you're flipping through the channel, oh, here's a wrestling show, and you see guys just cutting promos for 8 minutes, 10 minutes, you're going to change the channel.
Exactly.
Nobody's gonna watch this, and
You know, and
especially
then-
like
and
this, like
Paul-
when you said the accents are so thick, you're like, holy hell, what's going on here? Like, where are the subtitles? But
Yes,
no,
and
this
also
is
like, for example, tell me about this, Paul. Right? Like, didn't you have enough money to get Selena Vega then? If you have that much, that you go and bring this guy out, Chavo Guerrero. Nothing against Chavo, legit for what it was. The Guerreros. He did all he could to keep the legacy of the family alive. I will give him all of that. But as of right now, what can he contribute to professional wrestling or to AEW?
especially when Andrade comes out, he acts serious and everything, and then Chavo comes out and he's all like, woo, dancing and going crazy. He's like, oh, you guys still remember me? He's all baby face and all happy. Shouldn't he came out all serious, all business like Andrade is?
Yeah.
They're like oil and water. The only connection, like they said, the only connection these people have, every Spanish superstar has a connection to the Guerreros. Do they? Or do you guys just make that association because everybody wants to be like, oh, Eddie? And again,
That's
we
the
love
problem.
Eddie, but like, come
To
on.
me,
And
that's a problem.
I was just going to say, this is just, it's not good. Because JR even said it, you said it, Andrade needs to, we've seen this guy. We heard him talk. We need to see him in the ring. JR even said it before all this happened. So, yeah, they call out Death Triangle. Pax, like, I don't know who the hell you think you are. You're bullshit.
Why you put your name in my mouth? And it's like, it's like, I didn't call you out. It's like, I wanted, like, Penta and Ray Phoenix, because actually Ray Phoenix is, recovered from his injury. And, for example, like, Alex is right there, right, Paul? Wasn't he interviewing Andrade last week? So, like, all of a sudden, you go from being an interviewer and then you hate the guy? So
well, that's what I mean. The show, but see, all the 800,000 to 1 million fans. Unfortunately, they've overlook all these details and they go, "Oh, this is great." And then Monday Night Raw does one thing wrong, and they're like, "Oh, WWE sucks. They're the worst wrestling on the planet." But yet they praise this show. So what does that tell you?
It's true, and you see, there's a feud in between this. I don't like this again because to me, Andrade should have been going against like a title, like he said in the first promo that he had. Remember, he said, "I'm going to any major title. I'm going against Miro. I'm going to Omega." That's the kind of path that he should have.
Oh yeah, he probably cut that promo, and then Tony Khan was like, "Hey, that promo was great, but you're gonna feud with all the other Latino wrestlers we have first."
And even who said that also? He said it in an interview, Kalisto. He said it's like, he says he's that much legit, but everywhere he goes, he sucks. And the guy in the ring, he's great, but he's like, give him good stories. How do we go
and
from
especially with this when he goes, oh, he wants the Lucha Bros to join him? Didn't we just see that where they joined Eddie Kingston? Didn't we just see that same feud, same kind of like
went away? And it's like, can the Lucha Bros be on their own? No, I don't. And again, Andrade needs to just focus on being on his own. I mean, if you need a manager, like I said, didn't you have enough money for Selena then? Thinking that that would have worked fine with Vicky. Okay, you don't see Vicky anymore. Of course, now you got to bring Chavo. They're gonna bring Hector next. Is it gonna bring from LAX or he's gonna be the gobbledygooker? Which one?
Yeah, I mean it's just Tony Khan. Any ex WWE guy he can bring in, he's gonna do it. So
and it's just a bit annoying because again, you're just wasting the opportunity for this guy to be cool. Let him be on his own. Even if he sucks at promo, let him suck at a promo. Why? Because he's gonna get better if he keeps messing it up. But anyway,
yeah, he's gonna have to. Otherwise, like you said, he won't have a job.
Exactly. So hey, that's what happened with me. Hey, thank you. There you go. So another guy dropped out. Look at this picture. What the hell is wrong with this? I'm just so legit because I have Anna Jay. Poor Christian. You see Edge.
Done.
The seriousness. You see all the legitness from Edge. Everybody praising the work that he's done. Should we pray Christian? I don't think so. Because if you would have told me that he was going to go to AEW and be immersed in this crap, no thank you. I would have, again,
Christian is one of those guys who has the black cloud over his head. Like almost like same thing with Pac. It's like this guy can be legit if the right booker actually went, man, I know how I can actually get you over because you're just being put in bullshit storylines. I just won't put you in a bullshit storyline and you'll be over because you have everything that you need to be over. Yeah. That's what Christian is. And they're like, you're going to be in a feud with Matt Hardy. Oh, okay. Then what am I going to move on to? Well, see, it's not just a singles feud. You're also going to be with Jurassic Express and all this bullshit instead of being on your own.
I don't know. Like for me, it's just terrible. Yeah, poor guy. Let's go to the next. QT, this guy's another one. So 3 losers right there. Like, who cares about this guy? Every time that they had a match, they've lost. Every time. So why do I need to care? I know that like we want to say hi to our godfather, Cha-Cha Charlie, because he's actually going to go against QT Marshall in one of like the Florida wrestling like companies. They're going to have a match together. Okay, cool. Who's going to go over? Cha-Cha Charlie, because that's what QT does. You know what I mean? Like the guy is probably a decent wrestler, but can he get over anywhere? No. So why should I care about all these 3 guys? They're losers. No, thank you. I don't want to see them. Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Orange Cassidy. This is another one. Again, why do we need all this? Like, this feud is like, is it needed? I mean, probably the best match that the Blade has given me, but in the end, what is going to happen? Orange Cassidy is going to win. Of course, we see like the Bunny interacting with them, trying to cause distraction. Don't really care. No, see, the Blade should have won. He got a better match there, but of course,
he hit the big like gut wrench power bomb onto like the not the apron, but what do you call it? The turnbuckle. Turnbuckle onto the top there. Then Orange Cassidy was sold in the back. He even hit the beach break, but he couldn't cover him. And I thought, you know what? Maybe they're going to have the Blade win this, to try to push them to, maybe give us something different. But no, we didn't see that. Then you saw Statlander get involved, everything too. Orange Punch, he wins it. Then he picks up the Knuckles. And see, actually, that was a thing too before that when the Bunny threw in the Knuckles and they were laying there. And then, the ref looks down after Orange Cassidy hit the Orange Punch and the Knuckles are laying right there. And I'm like, oh, the ref's going to be like, oh, Orange Cassidy, you hit him with the Knuckles. You're DQ'd and the Blade wins. And then the ref just goes, oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. Orange Cassidy wins.
No DQ all of a sudden, right? No DQ all of a sudden. Yeah, no, this is, again, how in, Orange Cassidy, I mean, he's very popular. No one's going to deny that fact, okay? We're not even like, we acknowledge that. But do you go from like the AEW World Heavy Championship to this? Give him something in the maybe like Gallows, maybe Anderson. Do you do something better than this? This sucks. And I don't know. Just for me,
I think honestly, it's because he sucks. Because he's not a legitimate guy. He's a funny haha. Like, oh, look at me. I don't think they'll ever put the world title on him. I mean, I really don't. I think if they do, that's when a lot of things are going to go bad. Marks will love it, but the people who actually matter, the investors and the people who give Tony Khan and them all this money and TV time, that's when they'll be like, no, we're done.
I'm out. Yeah, it might happen. So, and remember what we talked about Nick Gage. So Jericho had to morph into something different also in order to go against this no DQ match. So he's going to bring back the painkiller. And I'm going to need a painkiller or the PainMaker. There you go. I need a painkiller to swallow all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, New Japan, it was badass. I mean, I'm not going to deny that fact.
New Japan before the gut, when WWE told him, hey, Chris, you got to stay in shape or, otherwise you're done, and he stayed in shape. Yeah, then he was legit, but, we're seeing the old bloated PainMaker versus the cracked out, drug-addicted, Nick Gage. So, I'm not looking forward to this.
Nah, I mean, and also, like, one more time, because, again, is Nick Gage going to win? No. For me, not even because it's like, if I would have known that then what's going to happen, I could easily be, maybe, is Nick Gage's match. At least I will try to get behind this, but we know that Jericho's going to win. So no thanks. So we talk about Christian. They're going to have a 3-man tag, with like against Matt Hardy's guys, like a private party, and this other guy. I don't even know.
I was at Angelico or Jack Evans, one of those.
No, this is Angelico. Yeah, Jack Evans is the other guy. Like he's probably injured because they do all those flips on dark on elevation shows that nobody watches, and that's why they get injured forever. But remember, like Hikuleo, there you go. Hikuleo is gonna go against either Lance Archer and Jon Moxley next week in the Fight for the Fallen. So this is going to be decent because this guy is actually huge. And knowing that Haku trained him, we remember the good old Haku, so that's pretty legit. And Tony Khan will announce a major new live event. So it's going to be a lot of rumors. Daniel Bryan, they said that, like, sources say, this is not confirmed by any means, but, like, Daniel Bryan might be 100% signing with AEW. He already went for the medical checkups to be ready to debut. So you never know. They said CM Punk, Paul. I don't know. I mean, if one of them go, I hope they do a little bit of justice because we know that most guys have not had the best time in AEW yet.
Any current star that still has some gas left in the tank that goes to AEW, they deserve everything they get. after Christian, if you have faith in this company, you're an idiot. That's all I have to say.
I mean, for Christian, yeah, because when we're talking about this one, at least so far, so good. I mean, it's 2-3 weeks in the making, but at least I love I love how, like, even the picture, the good against the evil, all of that. At least they're doing a little bit better for Malachi. And, hopefully if he wins also, if he goes over, this is going to be huge for him. And then I will start gaining a little bit of faith, at least. We're going to see this on August 4 in Jacksonville, like you said, homecoming. It makes sense, but I mean, do they have to use the same name as Impact? They even, like, in collaboration? I don't know. That's the only, I don't, it's not even a critique, but it's just like, can they have another name for that? But like you said, this looks bad, even on paper. I mean, Adam Hangman Page in that order against the Elite. And of course, we know that Adam Hangman Page is going to go over. So that way, that means that, like, he's going to challenge Omega, and then the Dark Order is going to challenge the Young Bucks for the titles. I mean, we'll see how Fight for the Fallen is. I'm not, too much, like, excited about all of this, but we'll see what happens. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, the Aleister Black or Malachi Black, that match with Cody, I'm excited for. That feud's been presented pretty legit so far. But the 10-man tag,
Yeah, exactly. That's going to open probably the show. So let's go with the main event. IW United States title match is a Texas death match. So this is going to be, and for me at least, the winner made sense. But I'm going to tell you why they did it. Because it seems to me that, like, the title is not going to last that long in Lance Archer. But at least, this was like you always say. John Moxley needs stipulations to, like, minimize the amount of wrestling that he has to do, so he can just focus more on, like, toys and all of that. This reminded me a little bit of, like, Sami Callihan against Kenny Omega that we saw on Slammiversary. Is in the channel, so you guys can watch. How did you feel about it, Paul? A little bit of blood.
I mean, it was okay. I mean, it was if I'm comparing it to all the matches I've ever seen, this was awful. But for, like, a death match, whatever type match, this was all right. I like Lance Archer, Moxley, good promo, everything. When they had a promo earlier on in the show, this was it was good and everything. But yeah, I mean, he has to get out the fork, and then, like, he's like, channeling Abdul the Butcher, and thankfully, I don't know if you caught it, but it looked like when he was stabbing him with the fork, he was actually stabbing him with the handle.
Yeah, well, no, I
like, he did it real fast, and then, like,
wasn't like this. He turned it around, and then he's like, yeah, I caught it.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So at least Moxley's not bullshit and actually stabs the people with, the pointy end. So at least he's garbage, but he's safe. So, we have to give him a thumbs up.
What are you talking about? Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Not like a pizza cutter, which, Matt Cardona, I'm supposed to see at RetroCon, so don't get murdered by Nick Gage this weekend, because Cardona is wrestling Nick Gage. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, he makes it out alive. But
Karrion Kross or Nikki Kross, yeah.
Yeah, this was all right. I mean, they did all the spots, I like
everything. When he did the paradigm shift and then he didn't sell it, so that was okay.
Yeah, I mean, and just, everything, like on the outside, pull up the padding, you see the big paradigm shift on there. Then, Moxley, like, is it his blood? Is it, Archer's blood? All this stuff is, I mean, it was all right. I was honestly thinking, like you said, they're going to have the match next week with Haku's kid, and you're like, man, they really like Moxley, so I feel like they're just going to give the title to Archer, and then he can give it to this guy so he can take that title back to New Japan, because they want to protect Moxley. They don't want Moxley to, get beat by, this unknown guy. They're like, if Moxley's going to get beat, he's going to get beat by one of our guys, so at least I guess it gets Lance Archer over, and then, hopefully next week they say, Lance Archer's, which they actually kind of did after the match. They said, we don't know if he's going to be 100% next week and everything. But yeah, he did the big blackout, into Moxley onto the barbed wire table. Moxley was pretty much done, trapped in there. He couldn't even crawl out if he had the strength, because he was entangled in the barbed wire. 10 count. And yeah, Lance Archer, the new United States IWGP champion. I mean, since they're not really doing anything with him on TV, that would have been cool if, they would have let him go to Japan for a couple months, 3-4 months, have a title reign, whatever, beat some guys, then drop it over there, then come back to AEW, because then he'd at least get a pop. It's like, we haven't seen you in a couple months. Oh, yeah, you're legit,
And look at that. Look at the size difference, Paul.
Yeah, because they said Archer's like 6'9". But, if Lance Archer just drops the title next week and loses it, it's like, oh, man, is this guy really that legit? You know what I mean? It's like, So.
And you already said it, you always read my mind, so that's why they did it. I thought exactly the same thing that you said. I just thought that, like, oh, they're doing it to Archer, so this guy can just get it, and then because he is going to be in Japan more, then our championship is going to finally be back to us, so he can actually defend against our guys. So, I mean, yeah, like, at least they did something nice for Archer.
Isn't it like a shame and kind of, it's sad, it's funny, it's any kind of negative connotation you can think of when this belt, which isn't even your belt, is defended more than the TNT Championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's because
like Darby Allin defended it every week, and we're like, you don't have to defend it every week. Now Miro doesn't defend it at all, and we're like, okay, like there's no middle ground.
No, is this because the consistency levels are not that good, but that's what we had. That's the show we had. So, family, thank you so very much to every single one of you. Don't forget tomorrow, NXT UK. We always smile. We won't smile as much this time because, of course, Walter and Ilya Ddragunov was canceled, so we're going to get a little more news on that. But despite of that, it's going to be always a home run for us. So, be there for us. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and give us a like so that, more people can be exposed to the original Road Break and where else.
And then, guys, make sure you follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and also on Twitch, and, of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
So you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...